All right, welcome back to Super Sports Sunday. We are joined by our pal, Scott Reynolds of PierrePaul.com. Scott, thank you so much for stopping in because we are starting weeks and weeks and weeks of OTAs now, one Buck Place. But first, let's put rookie camp to bed here because 2 intense days for all the newcomers. What were your impressions of rookie camp?
I'll tell you what, these Buccaneer rookies are fast. I mean, Devin White, 4.42 in the 40-yard dash. Jamel Dean, one of the new cornerbacks, runs a 4.3. Sean Murphy-Bunting, 4.42. So I think that they accomplished one of their missions on defense, which is to add more team speed. We saw that. Every single one of those guys I mentioned had a pick 6. Now, the quarterback play wasn't too great, so take that with a grain of salt, but I thought it was a really good start for these rookies, getting acclimated to Todd Bowles' scheme, which is going to feature a lot of blitzing, a lot of fun stuff out there for Buccaneer fans to watch with an aggressive defense.
Biggest news of the week, Jason PierrePaul electing not to undergo neck surgery. His fractured vertebrae is supposed to heal on its own. How relieved are you, and do you think we'll get to see him this season at all?
You know, that's a great question, right? I mean, if you ask any football player, playing the game of football is really like being in a car wreck. Yeah. And it just is in terms of the impact on your body. And I think you could ask any player, would you rather have a knee injury, a shoulder injury, even though you have to tackle, or a neck injury? The neck injury would be the last thing on the list, right? Because that just affects everything. And so Jason PierrePaul, if you look at the timetable, he might be back, November? Right. If all of this, holds true. And without surgery, is that neck going to be fine? Is it going to be 100%? It's one thing to feel good and pass a physical. It's another thing to be in one of those collisions. Not in a car wreck, but in an actual game that simulates a car wreck. And you have to wonder how serious this injury actually is, and what's it going to be like when he gets back, and can he play for the rest of the season once he does? Yeah,
I think, and we got the news, of course, with Kendall Beckwith. Lingering issue, ironically, from a car wreck. It's an ankle thing, but you just don't know. We've all had a fender bender, but let's hope that JPP is going to be okay in the long run. All right, Tuesday, we get on the football field. I don't know if I'm reaching here. Do we see Gerald McCoy on the football field Tuesday by chance?
That's a great question. I don't think it's going to happen. The interesting thing is going to be in June, though, at the mandatory minicamp. And there have been some reports out there about the Cleveland Browns having an interest in trading for Gerald, and the people I talked to at One Buccaneer Place are really tight-lipped about that. They're not putting a bunch of stock in it, and maybe they're just posturing to drive the price up for the Browns. But if you look at the Browns, they're really trying to turn the corner and make make a playoff push here with the moves they've made. They had another good draft. Getting Odell Beckham Jr. obviously in a trade, and now if they were to try to trade for Gerald McCoy, they're really going for it. I think right now you have to wonder, did the Jason PierrePaul situation make the Buccaneers fall back in love with Gerald McCoy to a degree? Because you could use some more veteran help on that defensive line right now, somebody that knows how to get to the quarterback. So that'll be interesting to see if they want Gerald back, and if they want him back even more now with Jason PierrePaul's neck injury.
You mentioned we may not see Gerald until June, but what should fans expect to see come OTAs next week? What would you like to see?
Well, from what I've seen so far from the first minicamp, right, and what makes this OTA different is now all of these rookies from this draft class are going to be here. And you're going to see a lot of guys on the defensive side. Anthony Nelson, we haven't talked about him, the 4th-round pick, the defensive end / outside linebacker. He's going to play a much more prominent role now with Jason PierrePaul's neck injury. But I want to see how these rookies get acclimated and go up against veterans. I want to see Sean Murphy-Bunting and Jamel Dean going up against the likes of Rashad Perriman and Mike Evans. And I want to see Devin White cover O.J. Howard. And I think that's really where the fun's going to be for these rookies. It's one thing to go against the likes of tryout guys and all that. Now it's going to be against Pro Bowlers.
Well, I think it's going to be an exciting time. And that starts this week at the Advent Health Training Center in Tampa, OTAs, and it's every week right up through June minicamp. Scott, thank you. As always, check him out on PierrePaul.com. All this news developing in the coming weeks. And Annie, we're going to take a quick break. Back with much more after this.